Right now, somewhere you cannot see, there is a version of you who did not click on this video. There is another who watched it twice. There is one who does not exist at all. This is not science fiction anymore. It is a real, testable idea sitting at the center of modern physics. So what happens the day it stops being an idea and becomes proof? Let's start with where this comes from. In 1957, a graduate student named Hugh Everett III submitted a doctoral thesis so strange his own advisor tried to soften it before publication. Everett proposed that every time a quantum event has multiple possible outcomes, all of them happen, not one. All of them, each outcome splits reality into its own separate branch and you exist inside just one of those branches unaware of the others. He called it the relative state formulation. The world would later call it the many-worlds interpretation. Physicists mostly ignored him at first. Some called it absurd, some called it unfalsifiable, which in science is a quiet way of calling something dangerous. But the math never went away, because the equations of quantum mechanics do not actually say a single outcome occurs. They describe a wave of possibilities that only appears to collapse into one when you look at it. Everett simply asked the question everyone else avoided. What if it never collapses at all? What if it just keeps splitting forever and we only ever notice the branch we are standing in? Now imagine that stops being philosophy. Imagine a lab detects direct evidence, not a thought experiment, not a metaphor, a real signature in the data that only makes sense if other branches of reality genuinely exist alongside ours. The first thing to understand is that nothing around you would visibly change. You would not see another version of yourself walk through a wall. The other branches are not a place you can travel to because they are not separated by distance. They are separated by decoherence, a term coined in the work of physicist Wojciech, who spent decades explaining why quantum weirdness fades the moment it touches the ordinary world. The branches do not sit next to each other in space. They simply stop being able to talk to each other at all. But the psychological impact would be enormous. Every choice you have ever agonized over, the job you didn't take, the message you didn't send, the person you didn't call, would suddenly carry a strange kind of relief and a strange kind of grief at the same time. Relief because somewhere you did take the leap. Grief because you will never know what became of her. Would that make your own choices feel smaller, or would it make the one life you actually get to live feel sharper because it is the only one you will ever personally witness? There's a second layer to this, and it comes from cosmologist Max Tegmark, who spent years trying to organize the sheer scale of what a proven multiverse would mean. Tegmark proposed a hierarchy 4 levels deep, ranging from distant regions of space we simply cannot see, all the way up to universes built on entirely different laws of physics. Everett's branching worlds sit in the middle of that hierarchy. Proving them real would not just confirm one strange idea, it would hand physicists a map, a first foothold into a structure of reality that is almost impossible to picture. And this is where things get uncomfortable for science itself. Physicist Sean Carroll has argued that many worlds is not some exotic add-on to quantum mechanics. He thinks it may simply be quantum mechanics taken at face value without flinching. If Carroll is right, then the multiverse was never a wild theory bolted onto reality. It was the plain reading of the math all along, and we were the ones who kept trying to explain it away. So picture the headline, Parallel Universes Confirmed. What actually changes on Monday morning? Your bills are still due, your coffee still gets cold. The proof would not rewrite your daily life, it would rewrite something quieter and larger. It would rewrite what you believe you are, not a single, solid, unrepeatable person, something closer to a branch. A single thread pulled from a rope made of every version of you that could have been. Would that make you feel infinite? Or would it make you feel, for the first time, exactly how replaceable one thread in that rope really is? Here is the strange comfort in it. You would still only ever feel like one person. You would still only ever wake up in one body in one morning making one choice at a time. Proof of other branches would not multiply your experience. It would simply explain why your experience has always felt so singular, so private, so irreversibly yours, even while the universe underneath it all was never really choosing just one path. Right now, somewhere you cannot see, there is a version of you who never finished this sentence. But you did, and for reasons no equation may ever fully explain, this is the only branch you will ever get to call home.